Edmonton takes game one of the Stanley Cup Final series as former Golden Knights miscue. A former Golden Knights miscue puts the Oilers on the power play, and Leon Draisaitl gives Edmonton a 1-0 series lead. More ahead on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone, from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. I am a longtime sportscaster, a marketing consultant, and the host of the new Believe in Vegas podcast. Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and the collectibles editor for the Hockey News. Coming up ahead on today's show, of course, the Oilers take game one. Later on, are the Flyers interested in Nic Hague? That is starting to heat up, and also no formal expansion talks on the horizon. We are brought to you today by Monarch Money. Use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you'll receive $50 off of the first year at monarchmoney.com. So the Oilers come back from a couple of goals down, Chris, last night to win in overtime 4-3 over the Florida Panthers. And they take game one, and it's a 1-0 lead in the best of seven Cup Final series. Edmonton, they were put on the power play when a former Golden Knight, Tomas Nosek, hate to say that and put him in that light, but at 18-17 of overtime, he hits the puck over the glass. I hate that call anyway, and he gets a delay of game penalty. The execution on the game winner, let's start there. That was something to behold because Corey Perry with a backhanded pass to Connor McDavid, who passes it across the slot. Leon Draisaitl on the back door. Draisaitl there with the goal. He scores a couple of goals in game one. McDavid also had 2 assists in the victory. And McDavid just was unbelievable on that pass. But good job defensively on him for Florida if you're looking for any consolation, because McDavid couldn't get to the front of the net all night long, but he comes up with 2 big assists, including the game winner on a set play. And that was a beaut.
Panthers gave up a 4 spot. There's not a lot of consolation after that. Back to McDavid and Corey Perry and Draisaitl in that game winner. What got me the most right there was McDavid. He didn't go to Draisaitl to celebrate. He went right to Corey Perry and wanted to show his appreciation for setting up McDavid just to slide the puck, shuffle puck style across the front of the slot right to Draisaitl. And Draisaitl is not missing that. End of story. Draisaitl from the front or from the right circle is basically Ovechkin from the left circle. He's that good in that spot, which is also how the Oilers scored their first goal. So off and running, good hockey game. Good that we got overtime. Very entertaining, a lot of drama, and I mean, give me 5 or 6 more games just like this.
And Draisaitl also scored the opening goal, got things started just 1:06 into the game. Sam Bennett of Florida scored twice, and Brad Marchand had a goal. Bennett and Marchand, the back-to-back goals there. First, the Bennett goal, that came after a challenge in the crease, and then it puts the Panthers on the power play, and they deliver once again on the Brad Marchand goal. So a really difficult sequence for the Oilers there, puts them down early. They're suddenly trailing 3-1 in this contest. And another Golden Knight, we have to point out on the positive side, Nate Schmidt, cannot say enough. He was on the top of the hockey stat card, Chris, and he played very well. 2 assists, just tape to tape, and really good job there, and really happy for Nate Schmidt.
You got to love Nate Schmidt. I mean, got to give the Panthers GM credit. Nate Schmidt and Seth Jones, both 1 and 2 as far as on the hockey stat card for the Florida Panthers. Nate Schmidt, offseason acquisition, Seth Jones from the Blackhawks. So the Panthers have found a way to keep their core intact, keep the team intact. And it's not ending anytime soon. That's the crazy thing. The Panthers, last I checked, have a lot of cap space. And yes, they got players they got to extend and everything like that. But there's right now there's 19 million in cap space for the Florida Panthers. Marchand, Nosek, Bennett, Nico Sturm, Sam Miskevich, RFA. On the defensive side, Nate Schmidt, Aaron Ekblad, Jacob Magna, and Bobrovsky is locked up for one more year. So, I mean, the Panthers are going to be right there for one, if not two more seasons with this window. And, the Panthers took a page out of the Golden Knights book as far as the style of game that they've adopted since losing to the Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Final. Now it's time the Golden Knights start paying some attention to what Florida's doing, not just on the ice, but on the, as far as managing a roster goes.
I know one of the things that the fans in Florida are discussing, why in the world did the Panthers fly into Edmonton the day before the game? And maybe that was a factor. Who knows? Maybe they got a little bit tired there in that contest. They should be ready for game 2. But it was a very physical game. Each team had 51 hits in that game. And that's going to take a toll as we progress in this series.
Yeah, 100%. I'm still waiting to talk about the first Bennett goal here. I mean, listen, it's hits, it's punishment. Although the game didn't seem to have as many fisticuffs, as many physical moments as I thought it would. I thought these two teams would just spend the first couple of periods, beating the snot out of each other. Just, hi, hello, good to see you again. And then as the series goes on, the focus, gets more about winning a Stanley Cup.
You wanted to talk about the Bennett goal?
Yeah. Waited 6 minutes. I don't understand. So, what wasn't, I mean, I don't understand. I watched the replay a few times. I saw it on social, and you got Bennett's voluntarily going into the blue paint space, which is okay so far. And are they saying Kulak slightly gave him a little can opener? I don't understand how that was a goal. You watch it in real time. You watch the replay. You listen to Eddie Ochek talking about it. Everything, every angle that I've seen, the only thing that I guess that they might have found was Kulak tripped him up a little bit, but it looked more like incidental contact between Bennett, Wallman, and Kulak just battling in front. Bennett, as a result, gets in Stuart Skinner's grill before the puck arrives. It's a tough one to understand, and I don't envy the Situation Room, but I do envy the Edmonton Oilers for not letting that goal decide the game. And for a second, I thought we had it right. For a second, we had I thought I had this pegged. Oilers score first, and then all of a sudden it's 3-1 Panthers. I'm like, okay, I got this. And then I'm kind of scoreboard watching, and then I see it's a tie game, and we were fortunate to watch the overtime, and Edmonton up 1-0.
One of the props that I spoke about this past week was Stuart Skinner, 24.5 saves, but he had to go. He had to go into overtime there. So, but he gets the job done. But the thing about Skinner that's so impressive, he held the Panthers off the board.
You just said the thing about Skinner that's so impressive. Keep going, by the way. This is a new world.
It is a new world. He does start out a little bit shaky, but for the final 57.5 minutes, he keeps the Panthers off the board. That's incredible. That's incredible. He just locked it down. And I don't know what it is about Skinner. He has these shaky moments. Then he settles down. He starts to get into a groove. 57.5 minutes. That is something that we saw that impresses me in the VGK series, where, of course, he shuts out the Golden Knights. Maybe he's getting into that groove again.
I mean, I will go back to my tweet when Pickard went out and Stuart Skinner came in, and it was celebrating it was celebrating in Fremont Street for Vegas Golden Knight fans. They thought that was the turning point of the series right there. You like that?
Yeah.
Everyone thought the series was toast, thought it was over. Golden Knights are going to go on because here comes Stuart Skinner. Well, Stuart Skinner's not a bad goalie. Yeah, he had a bad stretch. He's the right goalie for the Oilers because it's a goalie that can make his layups and possibly steal a game. And here we are, 1-0 Oilers.
Victor Arvidsson and Matthias Ekholm also scored for Edmonton. Ekholm with the equalizer sending it into overtime. Game number 2 coming up on Friday. When we return, it is rumor season, and reports say that there could be a trade between VGK and the Philadelphia Flyers for RFA Nic Hague. We'll get to that as we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Have you ever checked your bank account and you start to wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping of late for me, that has really gotten to me lately. I'm just on a spree, if you will. A lot of good deals, clothes, shoes, pants, shirts, all sorts of things. Shorts, I've reached them all this past few weeks. Entertainment, so much, so easy to lose track, especially here in Las Vegas. And that's where Monarch Money comes into play. It's your personal CFO. It gives you full visibility and control over all of your finances. And Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and you start to build wealth. So you can definitely start to budget smarter and save more. And instead of juggling multiple apps, the thing that we like about Monarch is that you can check your finances, track your spending, and even plan long-term goals. And right now, you need to take control of all your finances at Monarch Money. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll receive 50% off of your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Quit with the online spending, Cardasco. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. We are reporting from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. And you can find us, of course, wherever you get your podcasts. Once again, we do appreciate our guest for joining us yesterday. That was really informative, and we hope to be doing a lot more of that. Kyle Stitch, of course, joined us from AFP Analytics. And later in the day, they put out all of the contract projections for the Golden Knights. What a terrific graph they sent out for all the fans, and fans had questions. And AFP Analytics and Kyle Stitch got back to a lot of the VGK fans. We sure do appreciate that.
Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of good insight, and a lot of people appreciated not just the VGK side of it, but kind of going through the process of how they develop their projections and everything. So a lot of fun, and always good to learn about that. And those fellas will be pretty popular for about the next 24 days or so.
Yeah, for sure. Tax season for Kyle Stitch right into free agency season, SZN. Hope he gets a break over the summer. So yesterday, Elliot Friedman reported that trade talks are really starting to heat up between the Golden Knights and the Philadelphia Flyers. That's right. We spoke about a player yesterday in Nic Hague. Philly is going through a rebuild under Rick Tocchet currently. And Rasmus Ristolainen, he is out right now. They don't know what his future holds as far as if he'll be ready for opening day or what have you. He has a ruptured triceps tendon injury. And this would be a good fit, I think, for Nic Hague there. Could replace Nick Seeler. Now, Seeler can move down the lineup. But what about the rumors of Nic Hague to Philly?
Yeah, I mean, it's rumor season, and Nic Hague has a lot of value, right? He can go to a team that is on the brink, Bobby Brink, on the brink possibly of, getting over the hump, or he could help a team that is in a rebuild and become, a top 4 defenseman as Nick continues to grow and find his game here in Vegas. Like we talked about yesterday, Nic Hague, he's on the third pairing, unless, of course, something gets split up with Pietrangelo or Noah Hannafin or injuries. And if I'm Nic Hague, I mean, I think, at this stage, it's kind of like I want more involvement in everything. And I think it could be good for him to get a chance to either be a big part of a rebuild, kind of, help a team establish an identity, or he can certainly help another team that does have cup aspirations, put him on like a Toronto Maple Leafs type team or something like that. as far as the rumors, I mean, we're probably on the same website right now. Is it a Broad Street Hockey? Bobby Brink is one of the players talked about coming back. Possibly it's Tyson Forster, but Bobby Brink is one of the possibilities you're hearing about. 11 and 12 goals in 57 and 79 games, 12 but 29 assists last year. So really saw his assist total go up 5'8", 169 pounds. Not talking the biggest fellow, so he would definitely be more on the finesse side of things as the Golden Knights address offseason concerns. But I mean, good player to have for a while. Born in 01, so he's 23 years old. Could be part of the team for a long time. And if like a Bobby Brink were to join the Golden Knights and Alex Holtz were to develop, all of a sudden you're talking some young players to complement Pavel Dorofeev and other youngsters in the VGK organization.
At age 26, for Nic Hague, he could be looking for perhaps a couple of more contracts. I was thinking about this last night, and especially in this new cap era, he could probably get a 3-year deal and maybe another 2 to 3-year deal here as he goes on. So I don't think he's going to want long term. And the way that it could be set up right now with Ristolainen out, he could be on that top defensive pairing, I think, with Travis Sanheim, if I'm not mistaken. That would be interesting. He would move up. You said he wants a bigger role. Rick Tocchet, outstanding defensive coach, as we know.
Something has to give with the Golden Knights right now. None of the top 4 defenders are going anywhere. Zach Whitecloud has multiple years left on a team-friendly deal. Nic Hague is the odd man out, whether the Golden Knights are doing that big off-season move for Mitch Marner, or they're looking to do 2 or 3 complementary types of pieces like we've talked about. There's not too many paths to Nic Hague staying on the Golden Knights roster, unless, let's say, the Golden Knights don't wind up, doing a big offseason splash. Then they got to move like an Ivan Barbashev or something like that to free up enough room to extend some of the UFAs and RFAs. Another player that I think might have a better return for the Golden Knights, you got Tyson Forster, 81 games, 25 goals, 18 assists, all this as a 23-year-old, 6'2" and 215 pounds. So now at least you got a little more size and hopefully a little more grit that can possibly help out. And I mean, Bobby Brink, faster, more finesse. Tyson Forster, kind of more net front presence. Some of the Golden Knights, obviously, we've talked a lot about. Trying to see the hockey. We have penalties on this, or no? I don't see. I was curious what. This is a game log. Let's see how many.
So Chris, for VGK, like in a deal like this, they can't take on more contracts. So what are you trying to say? You think that they will have a good return for Nic Hague?
If they're trading for another RFA low contract type of player right now, absolutely the Golden Knights can work something out. And you would make room for a Tyson Forster type. Bobby Brink, fine, but you would definitely find a way to make some room for a Tyson Forster type. All right, Forster is 375 for the next 2 seasons. That's I mean, compared to his first season, that is could be a very, very team-friendly deal. Bobby Brink is a 1.5. Forster would be an RFA at when that contract expires. I mean, if it's Forster for Hague 1-for-1, you make that deal and don't look back. I don't know if the Flyers do the same thing, but you make that deal and don't look back. If it's Bobby Brink and Nic Hague in a 1-for-1, I don't think I hate that necessarily, but I like the fact that Forster is under contract until 26-27 at 375, and then an RFA after that. So the Golden Knights would have the control there. And now you're talking a building block type of forward too.
The Flyers have some good assets too, because they'll have 11 draft picks in this upcoming draft. They pick at number 6, I think, and number 22 to get things started. So if that's what VGK wants, they could perhaps go there.
They have 3 first-round picks. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Philadelphia has done dealings with VGK in the past, as recent as the Noah Hannafin deal, where they picked up part of his contract. And so we could probably see something happen here. And it should happen relatively soon, at least in theory, right? And then, of course, they signed the deal there later on on July the 1st. Coming up next, no formal expansion talks. No new Yotes in Arizona. What's going on here? Back with more right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Sorry,
trigger
jumped the gun there.
That trigger finger's
I
really
premature
fast.
commercialated.
We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast and make sure to subscribe to our sizzling hot Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. And tomorrow's WTF day, so line up all your comments wherever you might be. I think consensus here in Vegas, Chris, is that the fans are rooting against Edmonton.
That's
just
fine.
Based on my Twitter feed. Yeah, that's kind of bitter there, but terrific game one. Can Edmonton keep this up? Who knows? I wanted to be that guy in the presser post game asking about, well, man, where did this defense come from with Connor McDavid? Because he gets more just bitter every time someone asks that same question. Did anyone get that question in? I didn't watch much of the presser, but of course, on Saturdays, it is the Chris and Chris Jr. show. Back and play this weekend, hopefully. Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
If not this weekend, definitely whenever the cup ends, but there'll be definitely one of the next 2 weekends at the least.
Okay. Does little Chris have like a bedroom clean out day where you can, instead of, okay. Bill Daly.
Hockey never ends in this house. He's on the ice right now. We figured out in the month of June, he'll have like 26 ice sessions in like 31 days.
Wow. Good for him.
Not to mention the 2 or 3 a days roller hockey in the front or go in the back shooting pucks against our new little training area.
So the deputy commissioner, Bill Daly, okay, we got that out there. A lot of interest in expansion, he says yesterday. A lot of teams, a lot of prospective owners and what have you. They are out there, but the NHL stance right now, they are not going to entertain expansion talks now. So what this means now in the interim, the Golden Knights still own the rights, television and otherwise, in Arizona. First thing that came to mind, but nothing in the immediate future, which is a little bit of a surprise because I thought Houston, for instance, would have a chance. Quebec wants their Nordiques back. That's not going to happen, at least immediately.
Atlanta.
Who? Oh, Atlanta. That's right. Atlanta. They were talking about Kansas City was in the mix and Portland. So no expansion for now. What are your thoughts on no expansion movement in the NHL?
A lot. I mean, number one, I don't feel like there's a shortage. I don't feel like there's all this talent in the American League that needs to be in the NHL, number one. Like, there's a lot of really good players in the American League that will work their way in and everything, but I feel like the AHL is not busting at the seams, having too much talent, number one. So more teams you bring in, the more you water that down. Flip side, you give more kids a shot to become NHL players. So I get both sides of that. Of course, it comes down to money at the end of the day. It comes down to the other teams getting that big expansion fee, which would be probably north of $800 million now, because what the Golden Knights were $550. I think Seattle was the same.
Could be $1 billion. Could be $1 billion.
That number is going to be probably close to $1 billion by the time the next team comes in. Starting with Arizona, I mean, it doesn't feel right. Like, and I know I'm not there. I didn't live through anything. I might put the nail in the coffin for the Yotes for all I know with that tweet I put out a while back, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the right circumstance. I know they're talking about putting it in a better area, but there's not even really an ownership group that's kind of come to the table yet. So I don't know how Arizona is going to get something done. Houston, of all the cities that's being talked about, I think that's the one, honestly. It just feels weird to send a team back when it didn't work out once, like Atlanta. I know it happened in Winnipeg, although Winnipeg, unless it's the playoffs, they're not doing too well either as far as drawing fans in the arena. They've talked about, I've heard on the NHL network many times, a second team in Toronto. I think that would be interesting. But going back to a city that hasn't worked just seems a bit strange to me.
Why in the world was Commissioner Gary Bettman smirkish?
I saw that
press conference. I thought that was rather odd. It's like, yeah, we'll show them. No expansion.
No,
And
I'm
he
glad you
doesn't make,
brought that up. I wasn't the only
yeah.
one that thought that was a
And
little odd.
Bettman didn't even make the announcement. It was Daly, the deputy commissioner, next to him. That
Was that
was
like
really
McCrimmon and
odd.
Cassidy, like right there next to it? Is Bettman McCrimmon and is the daily
Cassidy.
yeah, thank you. Long
Yeah.
day already.
Yeah, it's a long day already. No, but I just found that really bizarre, and I don't understand why that was. Um, Daly also said that they will take a lot of meetings, but they're not going to have an expansion move.
Yeah, I mean, 32 teams, like it feels like everything is working right now. And you do have a few franchises, although now that Arizona is in Utah, things are better there as far as the outlook, and it really doesn't feel like, I mean, Buffalo isn't drawing well, but I think if Buffalo had a good product, they would be just fine. All the Canadian teams, I think, are very, very strong financially. I really can't think of any teams in the States. I mean, Florida does, you see empty seats everywhere in the regular season, but they do fine, obviously. Tampa does fine. So apparently Florida is the best hockey players in the Eastern Conference. So there you go, right there. Going up, like, I'm just trying to think in my head what team is not performing financially, what team is not selling tickets and things like that.
San Jose.
Yes, okay, yeah, and their outlook is good. I mean, and I'm with you. Like, San Jose is just questionable. Like, fans are not supporting the future. They only care if they're a playoff team or something like that. And so, if there's a God forbid a Sharks fan is actually watching us, but if there's a Sharks fan watching this, tell me why that people are going to go to the games, because if they're not going to the games now with Celebrini and Will Smith and Bordelot and Eklund and all these and Georgiev, Tony, they got Forgiev.
He's done. He's done.
Yeah, whatever. But
He'll
point
be
being
back
is
in the KHL here pretty soon.
that's
I
fine.
think.
Whatever. There's such a talented pipeline there. Why are Sharks not supporting that? Why are Sharks fans not supporting that?
Mhm.
I'm curious.
I like.
I'm not looking to dump on them, although it's
No,
pretty
yeah,
easy.
you are.
I want to know. Well, tell me why. Tell
So
me
they
why.
would have
Tell me
to.
why I shouldn't be dumping on them. There you go.
So they would have
Sharks
to
fans,
add
defend yourselves.
a
Defend your
couple
tank.
of teams. God, he's very talkative today.
Defend your tankless
They would have
tank.
to add a couple of teams, right, for expansion to even.
I mean, it
things
worked
out.
with VGK for a little bit with just
Houston
one
goes to the Central, and Utah comes to the Pacific. If that happens,
Who goes to
right?
the Central? Did you say?
Houston
The
would
expansion.
be
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
in the Central. I think in Utah, which makes sense, would be.
It is strange that Utah is 3.5 hours away and 4 hours, however long it takes to get up there, and there's not in the Golden Knights division.
It's not even that far of a flight. I mean, it's an hour and a hook, I think.
I'm talking the drive, but yeah, if it's an hour and a hook, then it's probably 6 hour
The
drive.
drive is about 6 or 7. Yeah.
Okay, I've never made that drive before, so I don't know.
Exactly. So Daly also said next to the smirkish commissioner that they're not going to engage in any formal expansion in that process.
San Jose
And
on that team.
teams can apply if they have all their books in order, if they're not cooking them. And then they would present it to the Board of Governors. So if you have a good solution here, if it makes sense, then they would present it, but they're not going to look at expansion. It's kind of talking out of both sides of your mouth, if you ask me.
Listen, if it makes sense, they're going to do it. If they can put $1 billion into their owners' pockets, they're going to do it. If they can increase their TV deal, if they can increase their TV markets, they're going to do it. It's a delicate process, and they basically, I don't know how these discussions go, but it's okay. Houston, how can you do what they're doing in Vegas and Seattle? Arizona, if you're coming back, how can you do what they're doing in Vegas and Seattle? Quebec, how can you do what they're doing in Vegas and Seattle? That's the measuring stick right now, and that's what the NHL wants.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. We had a new Twitter follower, everydayer, so that's good. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Please make sure to subscribe to our Lockdown Golden Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget tomorrow's WTF Day, so please line up all of your comments. For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco reporting from Las Vegas. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Lockdown Golden Knights, and please take care.